This is part 2 in the Bitmoji banner hack. In part 1, I showed you how to make the banner that goes across the top of my Schoology page. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to make the buttons and make them interactive so they actually go to a link or wherever you set them up to go. So let's get started by creating the actual buttons. I created buttons using Google Slides, and this is the Google Slides document that I created them in. I set up the page so it was a square so that they'd all be uniform when I put them into Schoology. I just went to page setup, and I actually made this a pretty big square because I wanted the images to be really, really crisp. Even if they were at a larger size, you can adjust this, but a square works really well as far as getting them all being really uniform within Schoology. Once I had my page set up as a square, I just picked a shape that I wanted to use and then set the color. So I chose a circle for my shape, and I picked kind of a gray background, and then I just duplicated the slides. So whenever I wanted to make a new button, I duplicated the previous one so it had the text in the exact same spot, and I could see where I'd put the image in as well, and usually use just clip art from the internet in order to do that. So I'm going to create another button with you right now just to kind of show you how to do that duplication process and show you how to add in an image without a background. So if I right click on this, on this slide, which is hard to do while I'm screen sharing, let's do it on the Schoology one. So if I duplicate this Schoology 101, I can edit the text. And I want to set it up so my kids can go directly into their Raz Kids accounts. So I'm going to need a different image here. So if I search the internet for Raz Kids, I decided that instead of doing more text, I wanted to use their robot. That's kind of like their mascot for Raz Kids and all of their logos. And I'm going to save this to my desktop. And then to remove the rest of that background, I'm going to go to a site called remove.bg, and I'm going to upload the image. Open it. And it removes most of the background, but obviously since this part isn't the background, it didn't remove it. So if I'm not satisfied with how this looks, I can actually go in and edit it and erase the parts I don't want. And I like how that looks, so I'm going to go ahead and download it to my computer. I'm going to open it up and crop it so it's not such a big image. Now that I've got my robot ready to go, I'm going to go back into my Schoology icons, and I'm going to insert the image that I just made. When I'm ready and satisfied with how the button looks, I can go to File and then Download, and I can choose to download it as a JPEG or a PNG. For this one, I'm going to download it as a PNG. I saved a bunch of my buttons and icons in a folder on my computer, and I'm going to put that downloaded one in with those buttons, so then I've got them all in one spot. When I'm ready to add my buttons in, I'm going to go back to Schoology, and then this is the one that I've already added them in. I'm going to go to that course, the other sandbox course that I used in the part 1 of this video, and add a page. And I'm going to title it Banner Unpublish. I did in the last video as well. I'm just showing this again in case you didn't watch the first one. And then I'm going to insert the banner for back to school. Of that welcome back to school banner, I'm going to insert a table. This table is not going to show up. I just want it to be in there to organize the buttons so that they're all the same size and in the same spot. So I'm going to actually make the border disappear so that you can't see it. I'm just using it to organize. And then when I'm ready, I can insert those buttons that I just made by going to insert content and then image/media, attach a file. And then I'm going to go into my Schoology buttons folder and just start adding them all in. It adds that little space up at the top, so you're going to want to delete it so that they're all lined up just right. And then go into the next part of your table and you can add your next image. If you're wanting to add more than 4 buttons going across, to add another piece to your table, you're going to go up to the top and you can either do a row if you want to start having them go down, or if you want to keep going across, you're just going to insert a column after the one you're currently in, and it'll add another one right next to it, and you can keep adding more of your icons. All of your icons are lined up. You're going to select them all, and then you're going to align them to the center. We need to add some links so that these buttons actually work. So if I want to add my Class Dojo one, I'm going to go to click on the Class Dojo one, and then I'm going to go to link, and then I need to get the actual URL from Class Dojo. So I need classdojo.com. I'm going to copy it and paste it in, and then this should actually work as a link now. And then I'd keep adding all of the links to all of these different buttons, and then when I'm done, I'd copy the whole thing. I'm going to delete this previous update that just has the banner because now I've got my buttons. So I'm going to go ahead and delete it, and I can remove it from the materials section from the top. Now it's totally fresh. I'll delete what I just made in the page in here. Double check to make sure everything's lined up before you post it. I've noticed sometimes it still adds that extra space, especially on that last one. And then they look a little funny at the end. So make sure you don't have any extra spaces in there at all. And it looks like it did it just right. So I'm gonna hit the bell and then I'm gonna post it. And it should show up at the top of your materials page and look like a banner. And then whatever ones that you added the links to will work as buttons. So if I click on this message me one that we set up for Class Dojo, if I click it, it'll take me to the Class Dojo website. And that's how you make a Bitmoji banner hack.